Hello and welcome here on La Token Venture Capital TV. We have today a great project and very interesting giveaways as well. So please stay tuned. My name is Javier. I will be your host for today. And like every session, we want to bring you the innovation, technology, and solutions you want to hear about. Best part of all is you get to hear it directly from the CEOs or the founders of the project. And it gets even better because you can address your questions even or your comments if you just put in the chat box. Before we move on to the interview, just a reminder, you can see our previous shows by visiting latoken.com/VCTV/shows. And one final reminder, anything mentioned here is not any type of financial advice. Please do your research before making any decision. It's your choices and your responsibility. And with that said, I would like you to meet the team of Strongnode with Daniel, Natalia, and Lucas. Good day, team. How are you today?
Good day.
Hey, doing well.
Great. Very welcome here at VCTV. Well, to start with, we have a few questions, and the best part as well is that there was a competition, and those that submitted the best questions, the top 5, are going to win. And more information on this later on the show. Just before that, let's jump at the questions that we have preferred. We already had a couple of shows with Strongnode, but for those of you viewers that are not familiar with it, I would like to ask the team if they could just tell us as a brief reminder of what is Strongnode.
So Strongnode is basically infrastructure as a service, and it uses idle resources from your mobile phones, tablets, or PCs. When it's either charging or it's in an idle dormant state, it utilizes those resources when it's in your screensaver mode or when it's charging. And it basically it processes chunks of blocks, and these blocks are data informations that can be, whether it be in the form of a VPN or a MapReduce function. And MapReduce is a data analysis tool or a data analysis method. And this would allow for data processing or network connectivity between your nodes. And this allows for low latency networking in the environment of gaming, or be able to process large amounts of data and be able to get your data sets and be able to process.
Thank you, Daniel, for that reminder. Now, let's jump on the project itself. Let's talk about the VPN.
Right.
What is a typical VPN?
So VPNs are required in public spaces, whether if you have with the prevalence of Wi-Fi or networking, that you can go into a mall or a movie theater or a public space and be able to still have internet connectivity. Most people have internet through the wireless carriers, but when they don't want to use their data rates or data pack, they tend to get on Wi-Fi. Now, Wi-Fi is great, mainly because it's usually it's internet that's free. You can jack in via wireless connectivity. But with that, the drawbacks is that being on an open Wi-Fi allows for a lot of attack vectors and your privacy being stolen in that sense. So what we want to be able to offer our users is a encrypted communication channels in the form of a VPN. And our VPN is going to be able to have certain features and functionalities. So if you are a game player, for example, we can offer you low latency gaming. If you are a journalist, we have different exit points around the world where you can establish trust and privacy, so you can get your article submissions in. If you are just a modern day citizen that is censored or feels deprived in communications, VPN is a great way to jump to a different network and be able to communicate and express your opinions without being censored.
Okay, really cool. It's really interesting. And why do we need it? And especially, I guess question will be also, what are the benefits of decentralizing it?
The benefits of decentralizing, we go back to the original thesis that there is Wi-Fi, there's internet connectivity, it's utility now. And now that it's utility, everyone has access to it, at least in the more modern regions of the world. With this, we can, since it's utility, anyone who has an internet connection and more power can contribute or participate in this network. And we feel that it's the lowest um, hurdle next to running energy. And so if you have internet connectivity, you can be a part of this internet revolution that we're building.
Okay, great.
So
Uh,
if you could see this video stream, you probably could participate in Strongnode in a short.
uh, Great. Yeah, it does make sense. Now, I'm not a really technical person, but you would explain us a little bit how does it work?
So VPNs, they basically are tunnels to a point in the network or on the internet. Let's say you're in Ukraine and you're a press person or a common citizen, and you want to avoid censorship or be able to communicate with your friends in a secure fashion. And the VPN would be able to establish that, since it is a point-to-point encrypted telecommunication tunnel, and you can talk freely since there is no one eavesdropping on your communication. And this allows for a private conversation between who you love or what you need to get done in that sense. Privacy is a human right. And with that, we believe that we want to be able to enable our audience, customers, as well as potential users to be able to get access to privacy.
Okay, great. Yeah. Uh, my only experience from what I've seen with the VPNs when they try to mask it is that you might not have access, for example, to a streaming service, like for example, I don't know, a Netflix or Disney Plus is not available in your country. So I've seen a lot of people going and try to mask their VPN,
That's
right?
right. Yeah, another use case for VPN is people wanting to access Netflix. Netflix, let's say you're in Latin America and you want to get access to North America shows, people would then get on a VPN and go to United States Netflix and then be able to access content that way too. That will probably be our majority of our user base and our user demographics of people wanting to watch content in different countries, and hence VPN would also be able to be applicable in use for that.
Okay, great. Now we have that concept of VPN very clear. I think our viewers are very familiar with it. Now, the next question is, how does the token relate to the decentralized VPN system?
So in the aspect of VPN, everyone becomes an edge node, everyone becomes an exit point, and everyone becomes an on-ramp at the same time. So whenever your node or your computer is used as a network node, it is then you get SNE tokens in return for using your computer or leasing your computer for uptime.
Okay, so it's like a reward system, right?
It's like a reward system.
Okay, good, understood. Uh, can you tell us about the earning and spending of Strongnode tokens?
So you can earn Strongnode tokens by being present on the network, sharing your resources, whether if it's network connectivity or CPU connectivity. And from there, you can earn tokens by putting your devices available and online at any point in time in the network. You can spend in Strongnode tokens. We'll have marketplaces for NFTs. We'll have interesting dashboards of where you can actually use the Strongnode token in form of a utility. Shortly enough, we'll have prototypes and design samples coming up to you for our audience shortly. We will have a lot of utility in the sense of not only do you earn Strongnode tokens, but you can stake it. And LA Token has worked with us in some staking components, or will be working with us. Additionally, we will also have other utility for the token of how it can be used to purchase NFTs or stake for earning NFTs. We'll have a lot of interesting ways that SNE will be used.
Hey, thank you for that, Daniel. And to our viewers, a reminder, if you want to get to know this project a little bit more, please visit strongnode.io, as you can see below in the banner. I do encourage you very much to learn about this great project. You have to get more information, you have to educate yourself, so it's your responsibility. So please visit that website. Now, let's continue. Is the decentralized VPN the first of several Web3 apps that you have planned?
That's right. We want to start with establishing the network layer. We want to be able to connect how large is our network. And once we establish how large our network is, this is through the use of DVPN. Then we will then release our second product, which is MapReduce. And MapReduce is a function that's used in computes or in compute cycles where it takes a large data array and reduces the amount of data until you get to the right parts of data that you're looking for, and hence MapReduce. Um, with this, we will roll this out. And once we roll this out, this will also accelerate our utility function for our token, and as we will have enterprise users actually buy compute units from us. And with this, they can process large batches of data that needs to be processed. So we could do batch analysis and batch processing for large amounts of data.
Okay, great, great. Now, to our viewers, there was a few days ago a competition in which consisted of a question competition, the best 5 questions will receive a reward. And I want to share my page if you allow me
Sure.
uh, about this. Just give me a minute on Twitter, and here we can see it. There was a giveaway in which Strongnode is going to reward 5 exclusive accesses to its Edge product. Daniel, could you explain us a little bit about the Edge product before we jump on with the winners?
So the Edge product is our binary software that you load up on your PC. It'll work on Windows, Linux, Mac, and eventually on Apple iPhone and Android and Apple TV. The idea is that anyone who, when we have our binaries ready, available for public release and download, people can then install this said binary and join our network. There are certain things that we can start on now, and we do have user registration available at strongnode.io, and we can have you log in and register your position in our beta testing, as well as to get for early access to binaries. Our binaries are not yet released, but when they become available, you'll be the first to know to try out our network and our services of DVPN and eventually MapReduce on the network. And the idea is that we want to educate everyone, mostly on the LA token community, that we do have a giveaway, but we also will be coming up with binaries for our solution shortly, within, I would say, around June timeframe. So please keep abreast of the situation of what we are building, and when for your consideration when it becomes available, please install it and see what we can do together, joining us on our journey of building a supercomputer.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, as you can see, there was this AMA giveaway for Strongnode, and the rewards were 5 exclusive accesses to the Edge product. So
Correct.
now let's have a look at these questions, or 5 questions, and I'm going to start making them in no particular order. The winners will be contacted individually in within this week and the next week. So the first question is the vision of the project in 5 years. Can you mention something about where do you see the project in 5 years from now?
Wow, in 5 years, that's a good
That's a
question.
hard one.
In 5 years, that's a long time in crypto years.
Yeah.
I would say in 5 years that we will have a lot more enterprise customers. We will have more than our DVPN and MapReduce solution out to market by then. We should have more additional services to be able to process. I believe that we'll be handling different workflows by then. I hope, knock on wood, that our network will be large enough and powerful enough to be able to host certain amounts of services. And I mean, it won't be as powerful as AWS or GCP, Google Cloud. But at the same time, it can have a significant amount. By then, we should be able to be harvesting GPU functions as well. So we can be farming GPU units as well as CPU units, as well as network. We'll probably have storage in some form of fashion. So all the components for an EVM will already start taking shape around the 5-year marker. It's exciting to see. We for sure do know that we have enough capital to survive the 5-year marker. It's just a matter of just innovating and pushing the envelope of what we can create on this network.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Now, the second question is a very relative question. I'll try to formulate it the best way I can. It says, as we all know, Strongnode is looking forward for the Web3 decentralized world. I would like to know if Strongnode is prepared to face the difficulties of a decentralized world.
Well, the decentralized world is no different from the everyday world that we live in. It's just that everyone's working autonomously in the decentralized world. As an organization for Strongnode, working in a decentralized manner has been our team is fairly experienced in working in a decentralized fashion. We've worked remotely for quite some time prior to COVID. So then in that sense, we can adapt and be productive in that sense. So from a corporate standpoint, yes, we can be completely decentralized. As a product of it being decentralized, that's our focus. And we want to create decentralized apps and solutions around this new day and age of decentralized networks. And with Strongnode, creating the infrastructure of network connectivity, compute, as well as storage, it makes for a compelling case for us to create the next EVM, where we can virtualize a lot of processes and do a lot of batch processes. And kind of the ethos of what kind of how Ethereum kind of provided different solutions. We want to be able to provide that initial infrastructure where a lot of the decentralized networks infrastructure actually rests on Strongnode and is powered by Strongnode.
Great. Thank you very much. We're getting a lot of positive comments from your community. For example, Williams Edward says, "A brilliant giveaway, mate. Nothing else to say, nothing else to add. Just brilliant stuff. Thanks a lot." Oh, it's always good to hear those comments. Now let's jump on the third question. That was the winner. Now this one is actually two questions. So I'm going to start making the first one. How does the project increase the token's value, liquidity, and utility so that it can lead to an increase in token prices?
Well, we have commitments in providing liquidity to our projects, and so if you noticed, I mean, we had a recent price hiccup, but we still are providing liquidity to our projects. Like recently, our main investors have just recently had their unlocks, for example. So you saw a lot of price action, but we still maintain liquidity. If anything, we double down on liquidity, and we'll be doubling down on our liquidity moving forward. We believe that liquidity is paramount to any project to show the trust of the project. So if despite the token price and liquidity pooling, we will make sure that we will always offer and provide liquidity for our tokens, whatever network that it may be on. Right now, we're currently on Polygon Matic. So eventually we'll make our migration over to ETH shortly, and next year we'll also have liquidity pooling in ETH as well. So over the years and over the days and times that Strongnode will be, we're in business regardless. And if we're not actively communicating, we're actively developing. And with this, but we're always constantly, for sure, actively provide liquidity for our token. And so whether if it's at a centralized exchange listing at LA Token, or if it's at a decentralized offering at QuickSwap, we'll always provide liquidity. And that is one thing that is key to us, because having people to buy our token, of course, also exit our token is key and critical. And then everyone has the right to buy in and buy out of our token at any point in time. But yes, providing liquidity is paramount. That is priority one. We plan to also provide more liquidity in the form of centralized exchange listing offerings. We really value what LA Tokens community has offered. But like for any successful token, it's best to have a lot more on ramps and off ramps on the network. So aside from the LA Token offerings that we currently offer to our community here at LA Token, we could see more listings, and we could see more bridging to other networks, whether if it's Ethereum or other networks from moving forward. So, but the mainstay or the messaging from there is, despite us moving networks, we'll always constantly provide liquidity, and liquidity is key for it. Key and success is a key component that's successful in any project that's in the formula of things.
Thank you. Now, you actually did reply, did answer the next question of this person, but I'll just mention the question to see if there's something else you would like to add to it. The second part of his question was, what is your plan to make your project stable and provide the highest return for investors in the long term?
Well, any strategy or product speaks for itself. It stands on its two legs. What we'll have in the coming months, probably in the time frame of June, is that we'll release our DVPN with tokenomics and the utility of how our token is used in DVPN. We'll then upgrade our binaries to support more other features and functionality. Not only will it do DVPN, but it'll do MapReduce in the coming by the end of the year. But we'll see more of the project stability when the application is released to the public and the token is used for utility. And then you'll see a stabilization in that sense. Luckily, we took the Band-Aid off, and all tokens are released to investors. So now we can't get they're all tokens are in circulation, and price shock or it finding its proper pricing will probably take ensue within the coming weeks, months, and years. So I think what we'll see probably in middle of summer, end of summer, is good price action where we will see the product stabilize, and you'll probably see the token stabilize that full follow.
Okay,
Not
great.
forward-looking advice or financial advice. Do your own research, of course, naturally, all that happy stuff.
Definitely, you have to do your own research. That's why we always future the website of the project. Please visit strongnode.io so you can learn more about it and then make a decision. You have to be informed. That's super important. Now, then the fourth question from the winners of the ZMA is, you already touched base on this one, but the question is, with time, how can we be assured of your sustainability?
Well, we always have we're pretty transparent about our developments, and we're pretty transparent about what we're working on this week. I highly recommend you joining our AMAs like this one, but additionally join our Telegram channel and Discord channel and be able to keep abreast of what we are working on. And we release every 2 weeks something called Dev Diaries, which is from our development team and what we're exactly working on from an engineering perspective. And what we found out as blockers and what we found to solve certain problems and how we worked on it. And we're pretty transparent in regards to how and what we're doing. So you can keep abreast of at least on an engineering level of where we're at with our projects and development cycles. So in that sense, you can time and do your research. And I recommend anyone listening to the stream to look at our dev diaries, look at our website, look at our white paper, and look at all that other information that we have, and make a good judgment from there. You'll see that we're always constantly progressing on our engineering front, and we'll be releasing binaries for our executables probably about June, and within the time frame of summer. And that's just around the corner. And we just recently finished our all hands meetings where we met up with all our stakeholders within the business and our developers, and we discussed what needs to be prioritized and developed. And we just finished meeting in LA. I'm still in LA, and we are just pushing forward. And we have a tight and short time schedule to release a lot of stuff, and people are cracking the whip and getting work done. So you'll see a lot of development and announcements coming soon.
Okay, great. So you have to keep an eye on the announcements. Now, this is the last question. And again, this question is formed by has two different questions. So I'll jump on the first one. And it says, having investors is important. So how many investors does Strongnode already have? What are the contributions to the growth of the project? And do you have plans to continue to achieve partnerships with large projects?
All right. So, like for example, thank you everyone for VCTV from LA Token. Yes, you are investors in our project, and we value your relationship and your and believing in us. But we also have the investor relations, Natalia, also on the phone, and she can go into details of how many investors and the depth of investors that we have. So, Natalia, you want to take that question?
Yeah, sure. No, we have a very strong and very supportive group of investors. We have over 30 investors that participated in the seed private round, and as Daniel mentioned, our tokens, that everybody's tokens has been released to the groups. So that's why you could see some price action and some people getting out, but still, regardless of that, 90% of the investors that we have right now are long-term holders, and they support our project and they believe in everything that we're doing.
Yes. So the folks that have sold. We've noticed that folks that have leased, they've staked their coins, and so we're tracking every wallet, of course, but at the same time, we're noticing that the majority of folks are staking their tokens, and they in the project long term. So that's good.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Now, uh, let's jump on the second part of the question, and it reads: too many projects promise magic, but never release any working product or prove any revenue within a short or long time of release. Can you tell us what makes your project different from other projects?
Well, we are an infrastructure play. Infrastructure takes time to develop. Roads. Rome wasn't built in a day, of course. The roads in LA or California weren't built overnight either. Infrastructure takes time and takes proper planning. You can't shoot something off your hip and think it would work, mainly because it needs to be properly tested, it needs to be back tested, it needs to be reviewed, it needs to have a security review, it has to be certified, and then eventually released. Because no one wants to ride on flaky roads or roads that will break, or you don't want to run into a hole if you're driving. And so what we make sure is that we have a process internally, normally that you'd see it as companies like Facebook or Google. We do code contribution, code review, internal audit review, and then we take it up to third party for a code review as well. And there's a significant amount of time to make sure all our code is certified by third party, and there's a lot of time that's required to do that, as you can imagine. And what we want to do is, if we are to come up with a privacy first solution around VPN, and we want to make sure that it's private, and we want to make sure all our binaries and our math for our emissions for Strongnode is correct and it's not faulty in that sense. A lot of the exploits that you see on whether if it's staking pools or if it's bridges and whatnot, are that there's a lot of exploits. And we want to make sure that we minimize any or have zero exploits in the code. So we make sure our binaries are certified by third party, smart contracts are audited by third party. We have a partnership with CertTech and other auditors as well. And we want to make sure that in your process of doing your own research, that you find these certificates that have been audited. Our code has been audited. It's secure code and has been vented in XYZ vectors. And that you as a user can use these functionalities and benefit from this. And so we want to be able to create a secure and environment where people can use the financial tools that we're creating. And we want to make sure that it is secure and it is something that you can rely on. And it has been got past the third party testing and audits. So with that in mind, it does take time to make a good infrastructure. And therefore, us pushing for a midsummer release is running a marathon. And of coordinating it with third-party vendors as well as our teams, as well as our server teams and whatnot. We hired all our engineering system levels as well, and our engineering worldwide. We had our internal engineering meetings as well earlier last week and this week as well to discuss what needs to be designed and what needs to be prioritized, and how security review of certain practices and products, how we hold and contain personal information, how quickly we delete it as well, as we try not to hold too much personal information, and we encrypt everything. And it's just a lot of work and process when creating security products.
Okay, great. Thank you. Those were the 5 questions. And again, as a reminder to our viewers, this was the AMA giveaway with Strongnode, in which reward was 5 exclusive accesses to the Edge project. And the winners will be contacted immediately this week and at the beginning of next week. So please stay tuned. And then with that said, well, thank you very much for joining us. And Daniel, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to say?
Yes, we had a great meeting this past week in LA with all our engineering as well as our operations and sales and business development. It was a great meeting, and it was an all hands. We work remotely all throughout the year. It's good to meet everyone face to face. It's good to meet Lucas and Natalia face to face, as they're always cheery and very motivational. And I got a good good energy from the whole experience, and we're ready to drive another 4 to 6 months of great productivity and work where we're going to meet again. But the idea is that we are working as a team, and that we also understand the teamwork that requires to convey to the community in the crypto community. And we believe in certain mantras where we want to be able to communicate to our team and as well as our community, and build that integrity to our user base as well. And so we will have more announcements, and Natalia will be more front-facing and be with the LA Token investor base and communicate what is going on. And please, when you do have time, visit us at strongnode.io and also subscribe to our podcast or Developer Diaries, as we actually have releases out every 2 weeks of our progress in development. And we are pretty transparent in our development and investor relations and how our progress is with our projects. We plan to continue adding liquidity into our liquidity pools and provide liquidity. We believe that our token has dropped recently, mainly due to some investors getting their access to the token and selling, but this is a great time to buy. And I feel that we are, when the token's down, despite the token being down or up, we will constantly continue to develop. And as the token in itself is its own product, but we also have some products coming out that we need to also focus on and push out. And DVPN is the first of many for your consideration. And of course, do your own research. But if you have any questions, we will always be there to answer any questions. So visit us on chat or Discord or follow us on social media.
If I may make a statement as well, Daniel, I think it's important. One of the things that sets our product, maybe ahead of the pack or, apart from others, is that we're a company of real people. Putting a product out there. My role in operations is overseeing, making sure that people are getting paid, and that human resources aspects. There's a whole company of people putting products together, real products. And I think that's important because we have utility built in from the get-go. We weren't a token looking for utility later. We're a company building the utility in from the get-go. So I think it's important to keep in mind that there's a real team here, and we're working together. And I think it'll work out for everybody in the long run.
Yes.
Not financial advice, but.
So yeah, as Lucas mentioned, yes, we're not a project. We're actually a company, and we work like a company and we act like a company. And companies can be slow too, but at the same time, when we work together as a company, we work and we can get the job done.
Yeah. And from the token perspective, I'd like to add that none of the management, none of the team members have sold any of their positions or, like anything we bought personally. We're keeping it for long term because whatever the price of a token is, it's not correlated for the development. We're continuing to development and we're building a real company and a real product. We have amazing team. And so the fluctuation of price should not be taken as a success of the company in the short term. Give us the time while the company will actually develop the product several months in a row. And a lot of investors coming up to me and saying, yeah, we're staking, we're buying more tokens, we believe in you. And that's kind of the attitude from investors and support that we love to have. So just want to thank everybody for being here as well.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone, for your considerations. And as Natalia said, Strongnode has not sold a token yet. And we don't plan to sell a token because we're properly financed, but at the same time, we're just developing. And, and this is not the time or place to sell the token right now. If anything, we believe in our products and the company and the people around it. So for your consideration and do your own research and hopefully see you on our side.
Great. Thank you very much. And it's so great to hear that, especially coming from our own employees. It's really good. I'm sure your community is also the same, and we'll hold on to it. And again, to our viewers, please visit strongnode.io. If you want to get in contact with the project, you can just go through Telegram. The Telegram handle is Strongnode. You'll find all the other media platforms where to contact the project on their website. So with that said, Daniel, Natalia, and Lucas, thank you very much for sharing this with us. I hope to see you in another show. And to our viewers, thank you for your time. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next show.
Thank everyone from VCTV and LA Token.
Thank you. Have a great day.